The birthday cake sat in the back seat of Mom's car, vanilla buttercream with dark chocolate ganache, exactly the way Dad liked it. 27 years of marriage, and she still remembered every detail about him. The irony would hit me later, sharp as broken glass. Should we get coffee too? Mom asked, her voice bright with that eager to please tone that made my chest ache. Your father mentioned he loves the espresso at Riverfront Cafe. I should have noticed the way she said it. Should have caught the slight tremor, the unspoken question hidden beneath cheerful words. But I was scrolling through my phone, half listening, thinking about my upcoming graduation and the internship offer I'd received that morning. Sure, Mom, whatever you want. She parked on Main Street, right in front of the cafe's wide glass windows. The afternoon sun caught the gold lettering on the door. I grabbed my purse, already planning what I'd order, when Mom's hand shot out and gripped my wrist. Her fingers were ice cold. Avery, just my name, nothing else? But the way she said it made my blood freeze. I looked up. Through the window, past the hanging plants and the couples at small round tables, I saw him. Dad stood near the back corner, his hand wrapped around a woman's waist. She was tall, blonde, beautiful in that calculated way some women master. Her hand rested on his chest, fingers spread possessive and intimate. She tilted her head back and laughed at something he said, and he leaned down. He kissed her. Not a peck, not an accident. A real kiss, the kind that spoke of familiarity, of countless kisses before this one. My heart stopped beating. I swear it did. The world went silent except for the rushing sound in my ears, like I was drowning. Then a teenage boy appeared beside them, carrying a tray with 3 coffee cups. He was tall, dark-haired, maybe 15. He set the tray down and said something to Dad. Dad ruffled the boy's hair. The boy grinned and said one word. I couldn't hear it through the glass, but I saw his lips form the shape. Dad. Mom made a sound. Not quite a gasp, not quite a moan. Something animal and wounded, like her soul was tearing in half. My hands started shaking. I pulled out my phone, hands moving on autopilot, and hit record. The video was shaky, but clear enough. Dad's arm around her, the kiss, the boy calling him Dad. All of it, captured in 43 seconds of footage that would blow our lives apart. Avery, Mom's voice cracked. Tell me I'm seeing things. Tell me that's not him. I wanted to lie. God, how I wanted to lie. But the words wouldn't come. I just stared at my father through that window, at this stranger wearing my father's face, living a whole other life we knew nothing about. The blonde woman looked toward the window. For one suspended moment, our eyes met. She smiled, slow and knowing, like she'd been waiting for this, like she wanted us to see. Then she said something to Dad. He turned, saw us. His face went white, then red, then blank, like a mask sliding into place. I grabbed Mom's arm. We're leaving, now. But, now, Mom. I half dragged her back to the car. She moved like a sleepwalker, her breathing shallow and rapid. I drove us home through streets I'd known my whole life. Everything familiar now, strange. Like the world had tilted on its axis and nothing would ever be right again. We sat in the driveway for 20 minutes before Mom spoke. How long do you think? She couldn't finish. I thought about the boy, 15 years old, maybe younger. I thought about Mom, infertile since the car accident 17 years ago. The accident where she'd thrown herself over Dad's body and taken the impact that should have killed him. The accident that saved his life and destroyed her chance at having more children. A long time, I whispered. The front door opened. Dad stood there, still in his work clothes, his face composed now. He'd had the drive home to prepare his lies. Eleanor, Avery, let's talk inside. Mom stared at him like he was a stranger. Who is she? Inside, please. We followed him into the living room. This room where we'd celebrated birthdays and Christmases, where I'd learned to walk, where Mom had cried when the doctors told her she'd never have another baby. Everything looked the same. The cream sofa, the family photos on the mantel. But everything was different now, poisoned. Dad poured himself a drink. Scotch, expensive. The bottle Mom had bought him for their anniversary last month. His hands were steady. It's not what you think, he said. I laughed. Actually laughed, sharp and bitter. Really, Dad? That's what you're going with? Avery, you don't understand. I have a video. I held up my phone. You kissing her, a boy calling you dad. What part am I not understanding? Mom sat perfectly still, her hands folded in her lap. She looked small suddenly, fragile, like she might shatter if someone breathed too hard. Dad's jaw tightened. You're being paranoid. That was a client and her son. The kiss was, it was just a European greeting, a misunderstanding. Stop! Mom's voice cut through the room, quiet but razor sharp. Stop lying to me, Will. I'm not. Stop. She stood up, trembling all over. 27 years. I gave you 27 years. I gave up my career. I gave up my body trying to save you. I gave you everything and you stand there and lie to my face? Dad set down his glass. You're overreacting. Show him the video, Avery. I played it. Dad watched, his expression carefully neutral, but I saw the muscle jumping in his jaw. When it finished, silence pressed down like a physical weight. Fine? His voice was cold now, all pretense gone. Yes, I've been seeing Helena. It's been complicated. Helena. Mom said the name like she was tasting poison. How long? Does it matter? How long? Dad looked away. 16 years. The number hung in the air. 16 years? Almost my entire adult memory. Every family dinner, every holiday, every time Dad said he was working late or traveling for business. Lies. All lies. And the boy? My voice shook. Cody, he's 15. Mom's knees buckled. I caught her, helped her back to the sofa. She was crying now, silent tears streaming down her face. You have a son. She said it like she was trying to make sense of a foreign language. All this time, you had a son, and I thought I couldn't give you more children. I thought I'd failed you. Eleanor, get out. Her voice was steel now. Get out of my house. This is my house too. The house I bought with my inheritance, the house I gave up my job to maintain while you built your precious career. Get out. Dad grabbed his keys. At the door, he turned back. You'll calm down. We'll talk when you're rational. He left. Mom collapsed forward, sobbing into her hands. I held her, this woman who'd been so strong for so long, feeling her break apart, and somewhere deep inside me, beneath the shock and pain, something else stirred. Rage. Pure, cold, calculating rage. I started investigating the next morning. Dad didn't come home. Mom cried herself to sleep on the sofa, and I stayed up all night with my laptop, digging through our family's financial records. Dad thought he was so careful, but he'd made mistakes. Men like him always did. The bank statements told the story. 15 years of monthly transfers to an account under Helena Brooks's name. Thousands of dollars, tens of thousands. Money that should have been ours, funding his other life. I found the emails next. Dad wasn't good with technology. He kept everything in one poorly protected folder labeled personal. Reading them made me sick. Eleanor is so needy lately, always asking where I am. I can't wait to be done with this charade. Cody deserves to have me full-time. The old house feels like a prison. You're my freedom, Helena. And the worst one, dated 3 weeks ago. Soon, I promise. Once Avery graduates, there's no reason to stay. We'll tell them together, move you and Cody into a proper home. This waiting is killing me. I printed everything. Every email, every bank statement, every piece of evidence. Then I kept digging. Property records showed Dad had bought Helena a condo downtown. Expensive, waterfront, the kind of place Mom had always dreamed of. More digging revealed private school tuition for Cody, a BMW registered in Helena's name, jewelry purchases that made my stomach turn, all of it bought with money that should have secured Mom's future, paid for my education, built the life we thought we had. The front door opened. I minimized the windows and grabbed my coffee, trying to look casual. It wasn't Dad, it was Grandma Margaret, letting herself in with the spare key she'd had for years. She looked older than I remembered, her face creased with worry. Avery, sweetheart, where's your mother? Sleeping, finally. Grandma set her purse down, not meeting my eyes. Your father called me. He explained about the misunderstanding. Stop, I stood up. Don't you dare call it a misunderstanding. These things happen, dear. Men have needs. Grandma, he has another son, a whole other family. How is that a misunderstanding? She sighed, smoothing her skirt. I know it's difficult, but marriage is complicated. Your mother needs to be understanding. If she'd been more attentive. More attentive? My voice rose. She gave up everything for him. She literally took a hit for him and can't have kids because of it. Lower your voice. And yes, that was unfortunate, but men need variety. Your mother should have. You knew. The realization hit me like a fist. You knew about this. Grandma's silence was answer enough. How long? Avery, how long have you known Dad was cheating on Mom? She looked at me finally. Her expression a mixture of defiance and shame. 5 years, maybe 6. The room spun. 6 years, and you said nothing. I was protecting this family, your father's reputation, his career. Do you know what a scandal like this could do? I thought if I stayed quiet, it would blow over. Men have affairs, Avery. It's unfortunate, but normal. What matters is keeping the family intact. Intact? I laughed, harsh and disbelieving. There is no family anymore, Grandma. He destroyed it. Don't be dramatic. Your mother will forgive him, and life will go on. Get out. Excuse me? I said get out, you knew. For 6 years, you watched Mom blame herself for not being enough, for not being able to give Dad more children, and you said nothing. You let her suffer to protect him. I was protecting all of us. You were protecting yourself. Your precious reputation, your perfect son. Well, congratulations, Grandma. Your silence just cost you both daughters. Grandma's face went hard. You'll regret speaking to me this way. The only thing I regret is believing we were a family. She left in a flurry of righteous anger. I didn't care. I sat back down at my laptop and kept working. By noon, I had everything I needed. Mom woke around 2, her eyes swollen and red. I made her tea and showed her what I'd found. She read through the emails in silence, her hands shaking. When she finished, she looked at me with something new in her eyes. Not just pain, determination. I want to see her, Mom said quietly. Helena, I want to see the woman who destroyed my life. I want to look her in the eye. So we went. The condo was in the Pearl District, all glass and steel and money. We took the elevator to the 14th floor. I knocked. Helena opened the door wearing silk pajamas at 3 in the afternoon, her hair perfect, her makeup flawless. She smiled when she saw us. Eleanor, and this must be Avery? How lovely. Do come in. Her confidence was staggering. She stepped aside like she was welcoming guests to a party. The condo was beautiful. Hardwood floors, designer furniture, art on the walls. Through the window, the river sparkled in the afternoon sun. Everything Mom had ever wanted, given to this woman. Helena poured herself wine, didn't offer us any. I suppose Will told you about us. We found out ourselves, I said. Ah, the cafe. Yes, I thought it was time. Will has been so worried about hurting you both, but honestly, this charade has gone on long enough. Mom's voice was barely a whisper. How can you be so casual about this? Helena sipped her wine, studying Mom over the rim. Casual? Darling, there's nothing casual about 15 years. Will and I love each other. We have a son together. We're a family. You and Will? You're just an arrangement that's outlived its usefulness. I'm his wife. You're an obligation. There's a difference. Helena set down her glass. Let me be honest with you, Eleanor. You're what, 45? Infertile? You haven't worked in 20 years. What exactly do you offer a man like Will? He needs someone vital, exciting, someone who can give him. He has a son, Mom interrupted. With me, Avery. Helena glanced at me like I was a piece of furniture. Yes, and she's lovely, I'm sure. But Cody is his boy, his legacy. Surely you can understand. You destroyed my family. I didn't destroy anything. I gave Will what you couldn't, a son, a real partner, a woman who doesn't bore him to tears. The cruelty was breathtaking. I watched Mom's face crumble, watched this woman who'd given everything get reduced to nothing in this stranger's eyes. Mom, let's go. I took her arm. Wait. Footsteps behind us. The boy, Cody, emerged from a bedroom, wearing expensive clothes and a smirk. Is this her, the old wife? Helena smiled. Cody, be nice. Why? Dad says she's pathetic. Always crying, always needy. He looked at Mom. Must suck to be replaced. I moved before thinking, stepping between them. Shut your mouth. Or what? Cody laughed. You gonna tell on me? To who? Your daddy left you. The door opened behind us. Dad walked in, briefcase in hand, and froze. What are you doing here? Mom turned to face him. I wanted to see her. See what I was competing with. This isn't appropriate, Eleanor. None of this is appropriate. Her voice finally broke free, loud and raw. You had a child with her. While I blame myself for not giving you more children, you were here, playing happy family. Dad set down his briefcase. I never meant for this to happen. But it did. For 15 years, it happened. Helena moved to Dad's side, slipping her hand into his. Possessive, triumphant. Will, maybe it's time to tell them. Tell us what? I demanded. Dad looked at me, and for a moment, I saw something in his eyes. Not regret, resignation. Like he'd been caught but was tired of hiding. Avery, you don't understand. This. He gestured at Helena and Cody. This is my real family. The words landed like bullets, each one a kill shot. Mom swayed. I caught her, held her upright while my father stood there with his arm around his mistress, choosing them over us. Mom, I whispered, we're leaving. We walked out of that beautiful condo, leaving behind my father and his perfect replacement family. In the elevator, Mom started crying again, great heaving sobs that shook her whole body. I'm sorry, she kept saying. I'm so sorry, Avery. You have nothing to be sorry for. I should have been better. Should have given him. Mom, stop. I grabbed her shoulders, made her look at me. He's the one who betrayed us. He made these choices, not you. But she just shook her head, lost in her grief. And I made a decision. They wanted to destroy us? Fine, I would destroy them first. The next 2 weeks, I became someone I didn't recognize. I hired a lawyer with Mom's inheritance money, the kind of lawyer who smiled like a shark and promised results. Your father used company funds for personal expenses, she told me after reviewing my evidence. The condo, the car, private school tuition, all purchased through his corporate account. That's embezzlement. We can bury him. I also hired a private investigator, the best one in Portland, recommended by my lawyer. Find everything, I told him. Every lie, every secret. I want to know who she really is. He delivered 3 days later. Helena Brooks wasn't just a mistress. She was a professional one. The PI found 2 other men she'd been involved with while seeing Dad. Both wealthy, both married. She'd learned how to play them, how to extract money and gifts while making them feel like heroes. But the best part? The DNA results. I got a sample from the boy's toothbrush, the PI said, sliding a folder across the table. Ran it against your father's DNA from his hairbrush. The results are definitive. I opened the folder. William Hartman, 0% probability of paternity. Cody wasn't Dad's son. I sat there, staring at those words, feeling something dark and satisfied unfurl in my chest. Helena had conned him. For 15 years, she'd made him believe Cody was his, extracted money and devotion and promises of a future together, and it was all built on a lie. The irony was perfect. What do you want to do with this? The lawyer asked. I thought about Mom, crying herself to sleep every night, about Grandma, who'd known and said nothing, about Dad, calling Cody his legacy while calling me just an obligation. Everything, I said. I want to do everything. The blog post went live on a Saturday morning. I'd created a website, simple and clean, titled The Other Family: A True Story. On it, I posted everything. The video from the cafe, the bank statements showing Dad's transfers to Helena, the property records for the condo, the emails where Dad called Mom a burden and talked about leaving her. But I saved the best for last, the DNA results showing Cody wasn't Dad's son, and a detailed timeline of Helena's other relationships, complete with photos and documents from the PI's investigation. I posted it anonymously, but I made sure the right people saw it. I sent links to Dad's colleagues, his boss, the partners at his firm. I sent it to Helena's friends, the women she played tennis with, the society pages she tried so hard to appear in. Then I sent it to Mom. Are you sure about this? She asked, her phone in her hand. the blog post on the screen. He wanted to erase us, Mom, to replace us like we never mattered. Now everyone will know exactly who he is. She read it twice, then looked at me with tears streaming down her face. But she was smiling. "Do it," she whispered. I hit publish on the social media posts. Within an hour, it had 100 shares. By that afternoon, 1,000. By evening, the story had gone viral. Local news picked it up. Prominent attorneys' double life exposed. The comment section filled with thousands of people sharing their own stories of betrayal, expressing support for Mom, calling Dad and Helena every name imaginable. Dad's firm released a statement by Monday morning. William Hartman has been placed on administrative leave pending an investigation into the alleged misuse of company funds. Helena's social media went dark. The PI reported that her country club membership had been revoked, her friends had stopped returning calls. And Cody, poor, spoiled Cody, got suspended from his expensive private school for 3 days after kids found the blog and started asking questions. Dad called me 63 times in 2 days. I never answered. Helena called Mom, screaming about lawsuits and lies. Mom hung up on her. Then, on Wednesday, Dad showed up at the house. He looked terrible, unshaven, rumpled, like he hadn't slept. He pounded on the door until Mom opened it. "Eleanor, please. We need to talk." "I have nothing to say to you." "It's about Cody." His voice cracked. Did you know? Did you know he wasn't mine?" Mom just looked at him. "How does it feel?" "What?" "To discover the person you loved was lying to you the whole time. To realize your entire life was built on deception. How does it feel, Will?" He actually had the audacity to look wounded. "I never lied about loving you." "You just lied about everything else." Mom started to close the door. "Wait." He stuck his foot in the gap. "The blog. Was that Avery?" "Does it matter?" "She destroyed my career, my reputation, everything I've built." "You destroyed our family first." "I made a mistake." "For 15 years?" Mom's voice rose. "You made a mistake for 15 years? You created a whole other life and called it a mistake?" "I was weak." "No. You were selfish. There's a difference." She slammed the door. I watched from the top of the stairs as Dad stood there, defeated, then slowly walked back to his car. He sat in the driver's seat for a long time, his head in his hands. I felt nothing. The consequences came quickly after that. Dad's firm fired him after their investigation confirmed he'd embezzled over $200,000 in company funds to support Helena and Cody. Criminal charges were being considered. Helena's perfect life disintegrated. The other men she'd been seeing confronted her. The society she'd tried so hard to join rejected her. She was forced to sell the condo to pay debts. Cody ended up in a different school, a public one where nobody cared about his expensive clothes or his manufactured attitude. The PI reported he was getting bullied. I should have felt satisfied. Instead, I felt hollow. Mom started therapy. She also started looking at job postings, something she hadn't done in 20 years. One evening, she showed me a listing for a hospital consultant position in Cannon Beach. "It's a small town," she said, "by the ocean. Completely different from here." "Are you considering it?" She looked at me with clear eyes for the first time in weeks. "I think I need to find myself again, Avery. The woman I was before I became Will's wife. Before I let my whole identity become about taking care of him." She paused. "Would you come with me?" "Mom, I have my internship." "I know, and you should take it, absolutely. But maybe for the summer, before you start, just us, figuring out who we are now." I looked around the house, this place where I'd grown up, where everything had seemed so perfect. It felt like a tomb now, haunted by ghosts of the family we'd never really been. "Okay," I said. "Let's go." We left Portland in May. The beach house was small, nothing like the grand home we'd left behind. But it had windows that let in the morning sun, and you could hear the ocean from the porch, and it felt clean somehow, unmarked by betrayal. Mom threw herself into her new job with an intensity that amazed me. 20 years away from medicine, and she was sharp as ever, her confidence growing daily. She started wearing bright colors again, started smiling. I worked on my thesis remotely and applied for grad schools along the coast. My internship had been in Portland, working for one of Dad's former colleagues, and I'd turned it down. I didn't want anything connected to him anymore. One evening in June, sitting on the porch watching the sunset, Mom's phone rang. Grandma. Mom looked at the screen for a long moment, then declined the call. She's called 12 times this month, Mom said quietly. Do you want to talk to her? She knew Avery. For years, she knew what he was doing and she said nothing. She chose his reputation over my heart. Mom set down her phone. Some betrayals can't be forgiven. We sat in silence, listening to the waves. Then my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Avery, please. I need to talk to you. I made a terrible mistake. Please give me a chance to explain. I love you. Dad, I showed it to Mom. What are you going to say? She asked. I thought about the man who'd raised me, who'd taught me to ride a bike and helped me with homework and told me he was proud of me. That man had been a fiction, a role he played between chapters of his real life. The man who'd looked at me in Helena's condo and said, "This is my real family." That was the truth. I typed my response. You lost us the moment you chose her over the woman who saved your life. Don't contact me again. I blocked the number. Mom squeezed my hand. July brought graduation. I walked across the stage at a small college ceremony, Mom in the front row cheering louder than anyone. After we went to dinner at a seafood restaurant overlooking the water. Your father would have been proud, Mom said, then caught herself. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. It's okay. And surprisingly, it was. He doesn't get to be part of this. This is ours. We clinked glasses. That night, back at the beach house, I found an acceptance letter in my email. Full scholarship to a graduate program in Seattle, environmental law, a chance to start completely fresh. Mom cried when I told her, but she was smiling through the tears. You're going to do amazing things, Avery, because you showed me how to be strong. She hugged me tight. We showed each other. August came, and with it, my move to Seattle. But I came back to Cannon Beach every weekend, and Mom visited me often. We built a new life, piece by piece, one without lies, without betrayal. One morning in September, I got a call from my lawyer. The firm settled with your father. He's agreed to pay restitution and accept a permanent ban from practicing law in Oregon. No jail time, but his career's over. And Helena? Last I heard, she left Portland, moved back east somewhere. Cody's in foster care. I should have felt vindicated. Instead, I just felt tired. Thank you for everything, I told the lawyer. After I hung up, I walked down to the waterfront. Seattle was beautiful in fall, the leaves turning gold and red. I bought coffee and sat on a bench watching people pass. A father walked by holding his young daughter's hand, and something in my chest tightened. But it loosened faster than it used to. I was healing. We both were. Christmas that year, Mom and I spent it alone in the beach house. We cooked together, laughed together, watched old movies, and didn't once mention the family we used to have. On Christmas morning, we walked on the beach. The wind was cold, the sky gray, but the ocean was beautiful. Do you ever regret it? Mom asked. Exposing everything. The blog. I thought about it. No, he wanted to erase us, to pretend we never mattered. I needed him to know that we did, that he couldn't just discard us without consequences. It cost him everything. He cost us everything first. I picked up a smooth stone, threw it into the waves. I'm just glad we found a way back. Mom linked her arm through mine. Me too, baby. Me too. We stood there watching the sunrise, two women who'd been broken and had learned to put themselves back together. Different than before, stronger. That afternoon, sitting on the porch with hot chocolate, my phone buzzed. Another unknown number. I almost didn't look, but I did. I'm sorry for everything. I was a coward and a fool, and I destroyed the best things in my life. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that I see it now. What I lost, who I hurt, and I will regret it every day for the rest of my life. I hope you and your mother find happiness. You both deserve it. Will I read it twice? Then I deleted it. Who was that? Mom asked. Nobody important. And it was true. The man who wrote that message wasn't my father anymore. My father was a dream, a fiction, a role someone played. The real man was a stranger, and strangers didn't get to be part of our new story. I looked at Mom, really looked at her. She was different now. Stronger, yes, but also lighter, like a weight had been lifted. She'd gotten her master's certification updated, was consulting for 3 hospitals up and down the coast. She'd started dating someone, a kind widower who owned a bookstore in town and looked at her like she hung the moon. She was happy, and so was I. We'd survived. More than that, we'd won. Not because we'd destroyed Dad's life, though we had. Not because we'd exposed Helena's lies, though we did. We'd won because we'd found ourselves again. Because we'd refused to let their betrayal define us. Because we were sitting here, on this porch, watching the ocean and drinking hot chocolate and planning our future. Together. And that was worth more than any revenge. The sun broke through the clouds, sending golden light across the water. Mom tilted her face toward it, smiling in a way I hadn't seen in 20 years. Real. Genuine. Free. Beautiful, she whispered. Yeah, I agreed. It really is. And somewhere far away, in whatever hole he'd crawled into, my father would have to live with what he'd lost. But here, in this moment, with the sun on our faces and the whole future ahead of us, we were finally, beautifully, completely free.